me. But how can I feel free to talk about it with my kids?
Questions about drugs and kids? Drug-Free Kids Canada.
Hi, I'm Carl Wells, getting ready to record another edition of Carl Wells Point to Point. It's a program where I chat with members of our community, and they talk candidly about their lives and careers, from their earliest dreams to their greatest triumphs. I think you'll find it informative and entertaining. Please join us for Carl Wells Point to Point, right here on Rogers TV.
This is Rogers TV.
Interest payments were going up, creditors were calling. I finally realized I needed help. The people at Janes & Noseworthy really took care of me, and I'm glad I chose a local solution. I felt like they understood me better. Getting help with my debt has given me the energy, the headspace, and the time to make my dreams come true. A chance to start again with knowledge, support, and people in your corner. Are you looking for that kind of help? It's okay.
Learn more about Leah's story at janesnoseworthy.ca.
It isn't the heavy trays that make the job difficult, or the fast pace you need to keep up. It's not working another double because someone called in sick. What makes the job tough is the moment you realize a customer has had enough and you have to make that decision not to overserve. Refusing service isn't personal, it's the law. We know it's not easy, but we're counting on you to keep us all safe. Thank you, servers, for doing the tough job.
Welcome, everybody. It is your boy DC coming at you on a Thursday night for Out of the Fog, a local matters bop that has folks from across the province talking about what's good and what's real. Tonight, it's about chocolate. It's about giving back with furniture you may not need to help people with a new lease on life. And it's about staying positive and getting active during challenging times. You're going to meet three amazing folks right in your own backyard. That's what it's all about. It's Out of the Fog, and we'll be right back after this break.
You're watching Rogers TV St. John's.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your boy DC, and I am the Thursday night host of St. John's local tradition, Out of the Fog. You know, local matters here on the show, and from arts and business, not-for-profit, anybody doing anything great to make our province a more rewarding place to live and work. It all happens right here in the studio. So join me and my boy DJ Slim Macho every Thursday night for Out of the Fog.
You're watching Rogers TV St. John's.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Out of the Fog, and like I promised you, I mean, we got treats, we got all the good things happening tonight, and who knows better about chocolate than the man to my left, the one, the only owner of Jacobean Craft Chocolate, Darryl Pike. Hello.
Donnie, hi, how are you?
I'm right where you left me, right here. Here we are.
Awesome, perfect.
So happy that you're hanging out tonight with us.
Well, thanks for the invite.
Oh my God, anytime.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't point to the obvious display in front of us. These things don't just happen, and I'm talking about awards. Now, I'll tell you, there's a lot of people out there in the land of entrepreneurs who slog hard, they work day and night, and they don't get the world honor of winning 3 separate awards. That must make you feel pretty great.
Cloud 9, for sure.
I'm gonna ask you, where did Jacobean Craft Chocolate come from?
Well, the Reader's Digest version is, it came through many osmotic influences. I do own as a hobby saltwater pewter, and in 2017 I was designing the I Heart NL Square logo that we so proudly display today. And I said to myself, well, I was always looking for a new catapult to go into some other business, and who wouldn't want to own a chocolate company? And I said to myself, let me take this design, 3D print it in a bigger format, 2.5 by 2.5 inches by 1/4 inch thick, get that brought in, have a look at it. That inspired me to say, well, why don't I make that in chocolate? You know, and so I went ahead, got some ACOA funding, and I said to myself, am I going to make my chocolate, or am I going to be a sales rep for another company's chocolate? And I said, no, I'll find the hardest way to do something. And I dove into it, and ACOA was positive in my direction, and within 6 months, we had our machines in from Italy and the recipes quasi down. Starting off as never perfect.
Sure.
And we were far from perfect. But on August the 1st, 2018, with the help of an incredible advertising agency, we kicked off this amazing adventure 3 years ago, plus a couple of months.
Time flies.
It does.
It seems like yesterday that we met, and the subject of what bean to bar chocolate versus other types of chocolate in the world is quite a difference. As an example, what am I holding in my hand right now?
That is called a cocoa pod, and that is a dried cocoa pod. So a raisin to a grape is a substantially smaller size.
Right.
That would be about the size of a football.
Oh, really?
A small football. And so it's been dehydrated, it's come together and shrunk. But inside there are the incredible cacao beans. Small cocoa pod, 20 beans. Big cocoa pod, maybe 40, 45 beans.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you get these big truck of these dropped off at the back door, is that right?
Well, it's not that easy. Now, the indigenous farmers of the equatorial band around the Earth, they have about 2.5 hectares of cacao trees.
Okay.
And they don't want to ferment and dry, so they bring this to a cooperative. And so hundreds of farmers bring it to a cooperative, and the cooperative takes ownership of the fermenting and drying, so there's some kind of homogeneous lay of the land.
Okay.
And so there's some consistency over the harvest, which is 2 harvests every year.
Okay.
And so we get the cacao beans fermented and dried in 50-kilogram burlap bags.
Oh, wow.
And then we take it from there.
That's amazing. That sounds very, well, from bean to bar, because you get the raw, true ingredient, and everything else is these big old bricks I'm looking at right here.
Yeah, so each recipe is a bit different. Okay. And if you go to a recipe book and you get 1 cup of this and a half cup of that and 1 teaspoon of this, well, we're down to the 3rd decimal place in our ingredients.
Zooming out, you are an engineer, a scientist, a food lover. Did you imagine that you would be sitting here today talking about the process of making world award winning craft bean to bar chocolate? Like, did you look into the crystal ball of life and said, yeah, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna do that?
So when I graduated in '94, that just dated me, but I was there in my office with my little robot and saying, what am I gonna do, with my career? And I wanted to use my education, of course, but I've always known that by the time I get to 70, I won't be able to see very much. All right, so I said I'll start a company in the background as I got my engineering degree and move both forward in parallel. But I've always wanted to blend engineering and art, and
you've done that.
I'm here.
And here you are.
And the future is very bright, because I have built a 9-degree of freedom little robot, 3 for XYZ location, 3 for color, and a couple for grayscaling, and that's all coming up. But that's the next game in about 5 years' time.
Will you come back and talk to us about that?
Will do.
I can't wait.
Absolutely.
Guys, we're in our final few seconds. You see the tags right here. You know how to get a hold of Darryl and Jacobean Craft Chocolate. Congrats, my friend, on the awards. You're making Newfoundlanders, entrepreneurs, engineers proud. Keep doing the amazing work, will you?
Thank you very much.
A pleasure. Guys, this is Out of the Fog. We'll be right back after a few squares of that chocolate and these messages.
It all started when I racked up some serious debt. Interest payments were going up, creditors were calling. Janes and Noseworthy came up with a plan. Knowing that the phone was going to stop ringing and that I was not in this alone was a huge relief. Bankruptcy or a consumer proposal or whatever help you get is not the end. It's just the beginning. A chance to start again with knowledge and support and people in your corner. Are you ready? Get out of debt. It's okay.
Learn more about Leah's story at janesnosworthy.ca.
He fell. Whoa, I'm not driving. I'm way too stoned. How are you feeling, Veer?
Oh, since we had that talk, I'm not driving tonight at all.
What about you, Dave?
You only had a couple of drinks.
And only a couple of puffs.
I don't drink and drive. No way I'm getting behind the wheel when I smoked weed, too.
How are we getting home, then?
Oh, you can drive, Dave.
Come on, Dave.
Take one for the team, buddy.
Don't let weed and alcohol influence your decision to drive.
Yeah, I need a ride.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Out of the Fog, and if you're just tuning in, it is all about starting over, getting help. Home Again Furniture Bank is an incredible organization that started with the brave vision of a precious few and has gone on to become such an amazing offering to folks in our Northeast Avalon, and I'm sure beyond. Maureen, how are you doing?
I'm great, Donnie. Thanks for having me on the show again.
I'm so happy to always have you on the show because the work that you do is so important to so many people, and I don't need to tell you that. You can tell us. Talk about how Home Again began.
Well, Home Again, I guess, started because of a vision of a lot of people. There was a need in the region for a furniture bank because none existed. And a group of concerned citizens got together and turned that vision, that dream, into a reality. So we have gone leaps and bounds in the 6 years since we started.
And for folks watching who have not heard of Home Again Furniture Bank, this organization helps folks who lack the basic necessities that we need in our lives. And forgive me for talking too much, but I'm so passionate about what the work is. Imagine that you don't have a bed to sleep in tonight. Imagine that you don't have a table to break bread on tonight. I think we all take these things for granted, do we not?
I think many of us take these things for granted, but certainly over the years working with Home Again, I have a renewed appreciation every single day for everything in my home that I have. As you said, we have too many people here throughout the region who don't have those basic necessities of beds, tables, sofas, and Home Again exists to fill that gap.
It's amazing this didn't exist already, and so I have to ask you an impact moment. How many folks have benefited from the good work of Home Again so far?
Well, we're in our 6 years. We're about to reach the 1,900 homes furnished, which we're incredibly proud of, yeah.
So I want to ask you, how does it feel to have such a dedicated group of supporters helping to make this happen?
And you asked the right question, Donnie. So we did this non-event, and in a way, kind of felt like you're putting your neck out there, because a non-event is, you're not doing anything, you're just asking people to support you, but we put our necks out, and our heads and necks were cradled by our supporters throughout the community, throughout the region. We have had an amazing, amazing response from our sponsors and supporters.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
And so I have to ask you, you know, someone's watching at home tonight, you know, they're watching the show, they're watching us hang out here, and they're like, geez, I got an old table, I got an old bed, I have an old dresser, I have this, I have that. What's next?
Check our website. You'll find all the information you need, whether it's donating furniture, financial donations, volunteering, and everything's there. So it's homeagainfb.ca.
Now, there is an interesting testimonial in your lap.
Yes.
This, I'm assuming, is context to how important the work that
Absolutely.
You do is.
So I brought along this testimonial. It's from a client who I had the pleasure of interviewing after we delivered furniture. His name is Don. And I mean, I mentioned our stats of 1,900 homes furnished, but each of those 1,900 homes have very unique individuals and unique stories, and this is just one of those. So thanks for letting me share it.
Please do.
So he starts by saying, I'm very thankful to Home Again Furniture Bank for the help I received during my darkest days. I've suffered with severe depression for many years, which I was able to keep under control with the help of my wife. When she died 9 years ago, my depression got out of control, so my doctor put me in a retirement home. While there, my depression got worse, and I didn't have many visitors while I was living there. I felt very alone and useless. I even thought of suicide on a daily basis. I tried to fight it, but I was fighting a losing battle and ended up in the Waterford Hospital. While hospitalized, I decided to try to do something about it. Growing up and being told I'm useless was taking its toll on me in a major way. I decided I was going to leave the retirement home and get my own place. After a few months, I had an apartment of my own in St. John's, which was far away from the retirement home. But it wasn't as easy as just moving, as my family had given away my stuff when I moved into the retirement home. This meant I was 59 years old, starting all over again with just the clothes I had. I moved in with nothing but my walker, some dishes, and an air mattress. So I was sleeping on an air mattress on the floor, which wasn't great because I have 2 bad legs. I ended up in hospital a couple times over a 3-month period with pneumonia and when my depression started to get bad again. This is when Home Again Furniture Bank stepped in and brought me some much needed furniture. I received a Chesterfield, table and chairs, a bed, dresser, side table, and sheets with pillowcases. I can never thank them enough for all they did for me at the time of my life that was the darkest. Home Again Furniture Bank is a lifesaver for me.
Yeah, there's emotion there.
Yeah, there is. It's an incredible story.
It is, and I'm sure there's many more just like it. We're going to cut now to a video. Please set it up for us.
So the video, the song, is all about this story that I just shared with you.
Check out this video and contact Home Again Furniture Bank. Thank you so much.
And I know that some days are tough. Life can be heavy, my friend. Life can be unfair. But I knew they came, and then you felt that life is still worth living. On the hardest times you found love. It gave you courage, and through the darkest times you saw the light. So I knew they came, and then you felt the love, you felt that life is still worth living. But I knew they came, and then you felt the love, you felt that life is still worth living.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Out of the Fog, and what a wicked show we're having. And I am super pumped to be hanging out with this man right here, this tour de force, Mike Dawe. How are you doing?
DC, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. Great to be here. Let's go.
Listen, as long as I've known you, and I was saying this before, everyone knows you, everyone loves you. You're so dynamic, a real people person, a family man, working in health, and yet you're sitting next to me today to tell a story What are we talking about today?
Well, it's, what can I say? It's not exactly how we drew it up on paper, is it? But there's a million other things that I'd rather be talking about, and yet I think this is one of the most important things that I'm talking about these days. April 29th this year, 9:50 local time, 9:20 in parts of Labrador, I was diagnosed with metastatic thyroid cancer. And you talk about just disintegrating into the chair. There's no words or way to describe that feeling. And I mean, my wife was 34 weeks pregnant at the time. We just moved into the house we built, just taken a new job. You name it, there was a zillion moving pieces, and this just brought it all to a standstill. What a year it's been, man.
That's fantastic. I mean, to think about everything happening in your life as a young adult, and then to have this news dropped on you. But something tells me that you are not the type of person to take this type of news laying down.
Well, I'll tell you, for the next probably 72 hours, I did nothing but cry and eat a lot of pizza, a lot. But you know, it's amazing because there's no. You talk about getting your world rocked, and you know, then amplify that by a zillion. It was unbelievable. I've never imagined. I'm a registered nurse, and I'm always on the other end of that conversation and trained to be so supportive and helpful and finding resources to connect people with and sides like that. This was unlike anything I've ever experienced. So, you know, for a few days I was just feeling lost, and then just had to regroup with the wife, go to a bunch of follow-up appointments, and find out kind of, I guess, where we see the path going. And that Saturday night after that, I just said to my wife, like, I really need to do something to take control back. There were so many things that I was no longer in control of my life with. So Saturday night at family dinner, I just said to my wife, I said, I'm taking Monday off work, and I'm going to do my second full-distance Ironman triathlon here at home. I was 15 weeks out from doing a full Ironman, and I just had put so much work into this, and I said, like, I'm not letting this take the train off the tracks here. So that Monday, 7 a.m., I was in the pool. Quickly drove home. So after the 3.9 kilometer swim, did a 180 kilometers on the bike, and then ran a full marathon, all with my wife, kid, because we only had one. We had one in the oven at the time, so one in, one out, and a few of our closest family and friends. And, you know, we had a big family dinner at the house after, and that was the moment I was like, you know, I'm going to control every single thing here I can, and every single thing that I can't, I'm just going to put it in the hands of the right people, and we're going to flip the script here. And we're going to make this something bigger and more positive.
And that's an understatement. Because, you know, what has happened since and the celebration of that is pretty unbelievable.
Well, you know, it's funny because, like I've said, you know, there's so many things that you're not in control of. Cancer really, in my experience, has robbed me of control of my own life. Times that you just have to make so many appointments, blood works, follow-ups, scans. You can get lost in the details of it, especially the type of cancer that I have. They expect it to come back multiple times in my life. So getting lost in 100 steps down the road, it's important to, what I've found for me, and this is what works for me, is, you know, trying to really, really buy into the things you can control, things you can positively influence, and, you know, small bites. So, you know, much like doing a self-supported Ironman triathlon 11 days after being diagnosed, like, I've just, you know, been really focusing on keeping things small, keeping things simple. And the biggest thing that I've done to cope and move through this has been through exercise. I continue to run every day and work out every day as best I can, because there's days that I can't. And, you know, the days and again, like, there's no secrets here or, like, you know, hidden tricks. Moving your body feels awesome. And when I started talking to the wife about the fact that, like, this has been so beneficial to me and this is kind of how I've been working through it, I just started to think, like, maybe I should start talking about my story, because there's no doubt I'm not the only person going through this.
Getting active is one thing. Getting yaktive is another. Talk about your journey of connecting with Young Adult Cancer Canada, which is an organization that helps folks live with, through, and beyond cancer for young adults. Tell me everything.
Well, where to start? It's funny. This is the last thing I've been involved with some of their fundraisers. I've been involved with some of their community initiatives. all of a sudden, I'm like, the conversation completely switches when you're the person affected by it. And, you know, in talking to, when I had my first cancer surgery on a Monday, our baby daughter was born that Saturday night. Like, I wasn't 72 hours at a hospital. Like, there's no take backs here. We're still full steam ahead. So we gotta work with it. And especially looking at that long-term forecast, we gotta make this work. And again, when you're playing the hand you're dealt, this is what happens. So I talked to my wife about the fact that, you know, I really think this is the best way for me to cope with this, through exercise, you know, just going for runs. I find that that's what works for me.
Sure. Be
it long, short, whatever. Just that's the time of the day where I just disconnect from the rest of the world, and I just really enjoy just the emotional or physical or mental side of it that you feel at the end. Anyway, so I reached out to my friend, Mr. Jeff Eaton at Young Adult Cancer Canada, and I said, Jeff, like, I've looked at my cancer calendar for the year. I'd signed up to run my 7th Cape to Cabot 20-kilometer road race in the fall. I said, I think there's a really good opportunity here to get together and make something out of this. So we started talking about, you know, and he was supportive, and the whole team there, Sherry and Roger, like, they just got so behind it from day one. What do you need? What can we do? And they just gave me so much help and support and encouragement. And the whole Get Yactive challenge just came to life. And what it was is that I launched this just before I went in for my radioactive treatment, and the entire conversation project initiative was all about getting bodies moving and using exercise as a way of promoting your mental health, physical health, and for me, coping. But again, whether that's cancer, whatever it is that someone's going through, if you're having an awesome day and want to kick it up another notch, like, again, there's no secret here. There's been just a simple, consistent message of how movement is medicine, and that is as plain and simple as it gets. It's started conversations I've heard from people across the island, people at, you know, old elementary school teachers, friends I haven't heard from in ages, people that you know, on the other side of the country. It's been unbelievable to see the reach and the way that this has connected people. Man, I was going through this too. I just didn't have the words. And, you know, just being vulnerable has been able to, again, just start conversations, but it's also gotten a lot more people challenging themselves to whatever their self. It was such a flexible term, because the challenge was whatever it is to you, and that's what it was to me, getting ready for this race. And at the Cape to Cabot, I dedicated every effort and every step of it to Young Adult Cancer Canada, and I actually ran the last mile of the race holding the Get Yactive Young Adult Cancer Canada flag up the hill to Signal Hill. So
you are an inspiration to so many people. Love you so much, guys. Young Adult Cancer Canada, Mike Dawe. Not the last we're going to hear of this guy. He's coming through, and I appreciate the positivity and the support. This is Out of the Fog. Right back after this break. Guys, what can I tell you? Another night full of big ideas, folks daring greatly, overcoming odds, and making good stuff happen. That's what we're all here for. That's why we do this show. Thank you so much to the volunteers and the staff of Rogers TV that help bring these stories of perseverance, big ideas, and big love right to you guys. And that's what I love. It's Out of the Fog, and we'll see you next time.
Comment about this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us, or send us your feedback through social media. If you have a comment about this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us, or send us your feedback through social media.